What's going on, everyone? My name is UnderTheRadar and welcome back to the Draft League Viabilities. In the last episode, we covered my boy, Jirachi. He might be claimed by other people, mine. My favorite Pokemon, I had it originally, mine. But in all seriousness though, Jirachi is in my opinion the best Pokemon in Draft League format, and I definitely think that there is one Pokemon that goes above the rest to support this mon. I'm very curious to see what you guys said went best with it. I have not yet uploaded that video, so I'm really curious personally. However, that Pokemon is Togekiss. Now, I know some of you guys are probably thinking, Kelly, why is Togekiss the best mon to go with Jirachi? Well, I'll tell you, little Timmy, there's a bunch of things that Jirachi is weak to that Togekiss handles instantly. First things first, I'm the realist. Second things second, Jirachi is weak to knockoff, while Togekiss realistically could not care less about knockoff. Jirachi is weak to things like Greninja with Dark Pulse, while Togekiss can pretty much switch in infinitely to Dark Pulses from things like Greninja's a bad example, but still because of Ice Beam, but still it can switch in repeatedly to Dark type moves that Jirachi does not like. Another thing is Jirachi is weak to ground, which Togekiss is immune to, so together they balance each other out. Togekiss is weak to ice, Jirachi resists ice. Togekiss is weak to electric, while Jirachi does not resist electric, it can still take on most electric types decently well, just going off of its special bulk. Togekiss is weak to rock, Jirachi resists rock. Defensively, they work very well together. Offensively, they work even better together. While there are things that resist both of their dual stabs pretty well, like steel types, there are a bunch of things that don't enjoy taking hits from a Togekiss or a Jirachi that are very easy to pressure with the other mons in your draft. These two together can hit 9 types super effectively with just the coverage of Zen Headbutt, Iron Head, Air Slash, Dazzling Gleam. That is insane. I know 4 moves to hit 9 typings, but that's still very good. And altogether, between the offensive power of Togekiss, which if you did not know has base 120 special attack, they can break down any wall core together. Togekiss also has an amazing support move pool. It also gets Wish, it gets Encore, it gets Baton Pass, it gets Roost, it gets Heal Bell. So together they can both support a team very well. They can also break down an opponent's team very easily together. Not to mention, just like Jirachi, Togekiss also has Serene Grace, so it can easily flinch down an opponent. Togekiss also has its own form of setup in Nasty Plot, which while is a little bit more situational, it's still very plausible because a lot of teams now are not as fast as what they used to be. With the introduction to Gen 7, the entire meta kind of sort of shifted down in a speed tier because there were very few fast mons introduced into the game. With very few fast mons being introduced into the game, that means that a lot of slower, tankier offensive Pokemon started being taken almost consistently. Meaning that a speedy offensive Togekiss can still outspeed the vast majority of other teams with its still impressive base 80 speed. These two together speed-wise also complement each other amazingly. Togekiss ensures that things like Darmanitan have to run Jolly, while Jirachi ensures that things like Garchomp and Latios have to run Jolly, so together they form this nice little speed pocket that force things to run speed boosting natures. Having a consistent Wish Pass in between the two is also an amazing feat, and while Baton Pass is not as good as it used to be because normally you can't pass speed stats in Draft League anymore, Dry Baton Pass is still very good because it's able to get you into a very good threat that is threatening out Togekiss, and you can gain a lot of momentum just from that. What's funny is that a lot of things that normally wall Togekiss are steel types, and this thing does get coverage to hit steel types pretty freaking hard. Things like Scizor can never freely switch into a Togekiss because it does get access to Flamethrower and Fire Blast. Bulky normal types like Miltank can never switch in for free because it does get access to Aura Sphere along with Nasty Plot. So this thing can kind of sort of take on its own checks, which is really useful whenever you want a mon that can be an offensive mon, a bulky mon, a defogger, a utility support mon. It's very cool to have that type of aspect to your team. So Togekiss, in my opinion, is an amazing mon, right? I absolutely love it. It is my favorite fairy type in the format personally. Jirachi plus Togekiss, this core won me my championship alone. Those two together soloed teams for me in the P4G in Season 1. So what do I think that Togekiss is bad at? This is going to sound really weird. I think Togekiss is terrible defensively. While it can do it, the vast majority of teams now are way too offensive for this thing to check defensively. What it can do is check them somewhat offensively. And what I mean by that is running a lot of speed and a lot of HP to try to check them in an offensive manner. It is amazing at that, but it is not a great wall. So if you draft Togekiss expecting it to be a wall, it's not going to be. It is better at being like a bulky-ish wall type thing. It's kind of hard to explain. However, I promise you, if you draft this thing as your special wall, you will be disappointed and you will not like Togekiss. Another thing that really hinders this thing is rocks. Having a defogger weak to rocks, while that kind of sort of sounds counterproductive, is a little bad. So I always say to get a rapid spinner with this thing is super nice, or to get another defogger in general is always helpful. Or you could be like me and just not care about stealth rocks or hazards in general and just be like, eh, whatever. Because this thing does have really bulky defensive stats along with having some good offensive stats, the fact that this thing is not a good wall is, I think, its biggest downfall. And I think that is the biggest reason why this thing can fail in certain scenarios, is because of the fact that people try to run it as a wall when it's not good at being a wall. So that alone, I think, brings it down a letter grade for me. Togekiss, in my opinion, is also very bad at being a wall breaker. Not a stall breaker, a wall breaker. There are two very different things in that. A stall breaker is something that can prevent things like Cresselia, Toxapex, and Chansey and things like that from beating you 1v1. This thing can do that with access to Encore and with access to Roost and Heal Bell and Air Slash flinches and Thunder Wave like Paraflinch. It can beat down stall breakers, or it can beat down like stall mons. However, as a wall breaker alone, it's not as good. I say that because this thing will never consistently get off 75% on a wall, 65% on a wall. What it will do is it'll get off a solid 30%, you'll be able to switch out and then get in a wall breaker. So if you want a fairy type that is a wall breaker along with being a bulky pivot or a wall, then Sylveon is what you want. Gardevoir is what you want. Even Clefable to an extent because of Magikarp Life Orb, then Togekiss is not what you want. However, I still think that Togekiss, personally for me, is better than Sylveon and Gardevoir. Clefable, it's kind of a different story because they do such different roles. Another thing that can cause Togekiss to fail and suffer is if you don't have enough pivoting on your team. If you only have like dry switching on your team, this thing is going to get worn down very hard and it won't be able to heal itself up with its weakness to stealth rocks along with its bulk investment. It's not going to be able to reliably heal up against a bunch of things. Whereas if you have like a slow volt switcher, a slow U-turner, a fast U-turner, and a fast volt switcher, you're able to pivot around more easily and get into Togekiss to reliably heal up. Which is why it goes very well with Jirachi, because it's very good at being a slow U-turner and a fast U-turner. Altogether though, Togekiss as a mon, I'm going to personally give it a B+. That is my personal opinion on it because I love it so much. If it was me, I would give it an A- just because I love Togekiss more than I probably should. However, I still think that this mon is amazing, and realistically, I think in between a B+ and a B is probably about where it should be. But guys, that is going to be my Draft League viability on Togekiss. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you think that I missed something, if I covered something improperly, if you have a different opinion, make sure to leave it down in the comment section below. I read everything. I'm going to try to reply to almost everything. And I really enjoy the conversation that this series does spark with you guys. If you think that these two have a very good partner to go along with them, or that Jirachi is a better partner than Togekiss, make sure to leave a comment down below for me, just so I can get other ideas for potentially myself in the future. Also guys, don't forget to let me know if you want me to cover a mon in future weeks that I have not covered yet, or if you want me to recover something in Gen 7, because this whole Draft League thing has changed recently. But guys, with that, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. Thank you all again so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.